girlies? So this is me. Ugh. The end of March, beginning of April, I say every year is the worst time of the year, in my opinion, in Toronto. And I'm like really feeling it this year. I'm going through it. I don't mind the winter. January, February, like they're cold. I will give you that much, but they're not gloomy. But this time of year is gloomy as hell. And I get very affected by that. I get seasonal affective disorder. And I'm feeling like garbage if I'm being honest with you. Um, I have a half marathon walk that I'm signed up for in May, and I have not started training. No, ma'am. Not even, I haven't even walked. Like, I used to go to the gym, go on the treadmill, do my 12 incline for 30 minutes thing. I haven't done that in weeks. So I'm not prepared. And yeah, like I said, low mood, not feeling the vibe right now. So I'm just gonna try to document my journey towards mental health and also physical health, hopefully, as well. Wish me luck. My friend Ariane and I did our first training walk for the half marathon. We are participating in the Toronto Marathon and we are doing a half marathon walk. I didn't even know that walking was an option, but it is, and we're doing it. We did a 12-kilometer walk today, which is 7.5 miles, and it took us about 2.5 hours. I would say that's pretty good considering I literally have not left the couch in the last 2 weeks. So to get to even that as our time is not bad. We want to make it so that we finish the entire marathon in 4.5 hours, which would mean that we need to pick up our pace a little bit. But overall, I would say it was really good. We went to Tommy Thompson Park and it was lovely. It was a really nice day today. Sun was out, it was cold, but not too cold. And I'm excited to continue training. I think what I'm gonna do is 6 kilometers every other day, and then we have our longer walk on the weekend. So our next walk will be next weekend and it'll be 14 kilometers, and we're gonna work our way up to 20 kilometers the week before the race. And then during the race itself, it's, I believe, 21 kilometers. So I think we can make that extra kilometer happen. Anyway, stay tuned. I haven't seen a lot of half marathon walk training content on YouTube. So if you're interested in it, stay tuned. Hey there, it's been a while because guess what? I've been unwell again. I have a cough and cold. I don't know if it's the flu. I can't have COVID again so quickly. But that's been a real damper on my training and also on my spirits. Although I have to say I have a lot more energy than I did when I actually had COVID and in the 2 weeks after that. That was pretty rough. But it's okay. I have to listen to my body and I have to kind of accept that my body needs rest. So I've just been doing that and trying not to judge myself too harshly. And I have been training still for the marathon, although my goal is not to complete it, it's just to participate. And that's making me feel a lot better. This is Exhibition Place.
This one?
Exhibition Place.
Okay.
Hello there. If you are still watching, thank you, you're a champ. I wanted to wrap up the story with a happy ending. I actually did manage to finish the marathon, and I'm so proud of myself. I have a medal that says Toronto Half Marathon, and I wanted to give you this update because my expectation was not even to finish the race. I just thought participating is checking something off of my bucket list, but I was able to finish, and my friend and I did it in a record time for us. We were hoping to finish in about 4 or 4.5 hours. We actually finished the race in 3 hours and 45 minutes, and we beat some of the runners. Our average walking pace was about 5.6 kilometers per hour, which is kind of amazing. And there were some times where we were sort of like, I wouldn't say jogging, but like definitely speed walking, times when we were taking it at a little bit more of a leisurely pace. And it was very doable. I hadn't been training, like I mentioned, because I've been in sort of poor health. I had COVID. I had a flu, which I still am like recovering from. I cough at night. I had an unrelated surgery, which prevented my training from being as like linear in progression as I would have liked it to have been. I've just generally not been feeling great with all those extenuating circumstances. And I actually got a blister on my ankle the day before the race because I was trying to do some walking, and I actually wore through a pair of sneakers that I had had for, I don't know, a few years. I've never worn through a pair of sneakers before. It's possible to do. And I was like really not expecting to complete the race, let alone finish in a record time. All of this to say that it is certainly possible to do a half marathon walk, do it in a faster time than some runners, and not have a ton of training in order to prepare you for it. I will say today I am quite sore. Another one of the reasons why I wasn't expecting to finish is because I do have like a weaker knee, and I've had recurring issues with it for the past 6-7 years. I get regular physio, and I, do have to take care when I'm working out, but it didn't bother me during the race. I made a fatal mistake, which was deciding to run like the last 100 meters of the race. I thought it would be like a heroic way to cross the finish line. That was a mistake. I should not have done it. It really strained my knee after 21 kilometers of walking. Besides that, like my left knee is completely fine. My right knee is in pain today, and I've iced it. I've taken medication. I put a soft brace on it. I'm going to put a hard brace on it so that it's, able to heal back in place. Overall, it was a really good experience. I think being in the moment, we were able to stay motivated and able to beat our previous times because we were actually sort of comparing ourselves to runners who were mostly jogging, I would say. You can't run unless you're an elite athlete 21 kilometers. So there's definitely slower paces. People walk as well, even if they're not doing the walking marathon. Runners are also walking. So we were just sort of comparing ourselves to people around us, and that keeps you motivated to stay, walking and keeping yourself going. Besides the knee pain today, I would say I'm in good shape. I also didn't really anticipate how hungry I would be after the race. Like I ate my meals, and then at night I woke up like starving. And so I did eat some more food, not like unhealthy food, but it obviously has taken a toll on my body to have those like micro tears in your muscles, and there's a lot of stuff to repair. So that's something I hadn't considered. I would say the race was really well organized. My only critiques, as in complaints about the race, number one, runners are rude to walkers. I had to push a couple people because they physically pushed me, and I had to push them back and be like, I'm in the race too. I swore at a couple of people because you can take the girl out of the Toronto streets, but you will never take the Toronto streets out of the girl. And actually we were in the Toronto streets. So I was like, look, same rules apply. I don't care where you're from. You do not shove somebody and expect to get away with it. That's number one. Number two, I would say it was pretty disorganized at the start and at the finish, which are the two main points. When we got there, the TTC wasn't running properly. Big surprise. So we got there kind of late, and we didn't know where to begin. We didn't know where the start was for the walkers because the walkers start before the runners, and that was a bit confusing. And then at the end, it wasn't clear where you're supposed to go get your medal and get your snacks. It was really nice that we were able to fill up on snacks for free. I'm sure that was sponsored by somebody. So that was really nice to be able to get like a bunch of like bananas and other sort of healthier snacks and sports drinks and things like that. It was nice to get that for free, but it was very chaotic in there. Other than that, the water along the way and the Noon, which tastes like garbage but was free and that has electrolytes in it, was really well organized. So no major complaints. Everybody like running the race, besides the couple of rude people and the organizers, were all very friendly and encouraging. And I thought it was so sweet that people took time to come and watch the race and cheer us on. Like that was really, really sweet. I did not expect it at all. I did have some experience with cheering for marathoners when I lived in Boston, and the Boston Marathon is obviously a very big deal. And when they would come to the halfway point, which was at Wellesley, near Wellesley College, where I went to my undergrad, we used to all go out and cheer. So I had some experience of that, but I was not expecting that in Toronto. And it was really, really sweet to see. Also, they blocked off all the major roads for us, which was, again, amazing. Just like walking down these major intersections and, you know, not having to look at the traffic lights and the police like being there to protect you, kind of. Would I do it again? I don't know. I simply do not know. But if you are looking for a new experience to try a half marathon walk. It is surprisingly amazing. There were actually a lot of walkers this time. Apparently last year there were 6 walkers, and this year there were definitely more than 6. And maybe that's something to do with TikTok, because the way that my friend found out about the half marathon walk was through TikTok. So who knows? And yeah, I have a medal. It is huge. It is so heavy. It's definitely a weapon. Like, this is heavy. And now I have something to commemorate this. I don't know what I'm going to do with this medal. It is so obnoxiously big. Like, I can't hang it up somewhere, but I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to keep my tag that had my number and my name on it. I look rough in the pictures that they took when I was crossing the finish line, so I don't know if I'm going to post them up here, but maybe I will. Ugh. You can't look super cute, you know, after 21 kilometers. Like, it's just not the vibe. I mean, if it is you, amazing. It was not me. I should also mention about the Toronto Marathon in particular. There is some misinformation out there which may cause newcomers and novices to be lulled into a false sense of security that the marathon is a flat downhill walk. As a Torontonian, I knew that just couldn't be true, knowing that it starts at Yonge and Sheppard and ends at Exhibition Place. The city is not flat. There's lots of hills. So I didn't believe it, but my friend who's new to Toronto and is susceptible to this kind of misinformation was thinking that it was going to be a downhill walk. It wasn't. Also knowing the city that I love, Toronto, the garbage magical town that it is, the roads are not always straight. So there are rough patches where it's not paved properly. This time of year, we have rain and we have mud and gloom. So there are muddy areas. It's not super smooth and safe, especially if you're going to be running. So just to be aware of that. Also, in this transitional time of year, it's difficult to dress appropriately. So I was wearing a t-shirt and I had a zip-up hoodie with me. Not like a runner's hoodie, which, you know, is a mistake, but I'm not a runner. And this is my first time doing this kind of walk. So I would recommend definitely bringing layers. Bringing something that you can take off and tie around your waist is really important. And then it did rain after the race. Luckily, we crossed the finish line and were inside when it started raining, but I'm sure that there were some people who got rained on. It's a difficult time of year to be able to dress appropriately for the weather. Starting at 6 a.m., which we did, I left my apartment at 6:15, which is probably never been done before, except maybe to catch a really early morning flight. And then we got home around like 3 p.m. So being out for that long, the weather certainly changed a few times. And I don't know that I was perfectly dressed for it. I also took a hat and sunglasses. I took a granola bar with me, actually a protein bar. I took my phone, my wallet, my keys, my, what are they called? Headphones. And I took some Band-Aids for my blister. You know, not that much stuff, but I don't think I could have taken any less. I also had a mask. So yeah, that's not great. I wish that I had maybe like had a pouch or something to carry with me. That would have been a little bit easier, but frankly, I wasn't prepared. I was also wearing new shoes because the previous sneakers that I had like trained in, like I mentioned, I had worn through. So I had to wear a new pair of shoes, which actually is kind of a big deal when you haven't been training in those shoes. They worked fine and they're very comfortable, but I was a bit nervous about that. Socks is also another concern where you're like, are my everyday socks gonna cut it? They did, but I made sure that they were like over my ankle socks. Like they were not fashion socks by any means, but you know, I needed to protect my ankle and try not to get any more blisters. So I'm sure that there is like a whole better way to prepare your clothing for the day, but I was not aware and I was not that prepared. Just a note. But overall, I'm glad I did it. And here's some half marathon content if you are considering doing a walking half marathon. There's a dearth of information out there, so hopefully this is helpful. And let me know if you end up doing a half marathon walk. All right, take care and happy walking. Bye.